evening, I'm Shubhendu Ghosh. Welcome to Newsnight. After Cyclone Phony, India is bracing up for another big storm, Cyclone Vayu. This time on the west coast, Gujarat. Administration is making advanced preparation to minimize damage. 24/7 control rooms are also being set up. News from West Bengal is not good. Violence continues in the state as crude bomb attack claimed 2 lives in North 24 Parganas. Meanwhile, Prime Minister Narendra Modi delivered a pep talk of sorts to his senior bureaucrats in a special interaction on Monday. The secretaries also gave their inputs, and we'll be focusing on the key takeaways from this interaction. In other news, wreckage of missing aircraft AN-32 has been found in Arunachal, and KAILASH MANSAROVER YATRA has begun as the first batch of pilgrims were flagged off for the pilgrimage. All that and more. Let's begin with the top stories at this hour. Centre prepares to deal with Cyclone Vayu. Home Minister Amit Shah chairs high-level meeting to review preparedness. Directs administration to take every possible measure to ensure safe evacuation of people. Coast Guard, Navy, Army and Air Force put on standby. Wreckage of the missing AN-32 aircraft spotted north of Lipo in Arunachal Pradesh. Wreckage found at an approximate elevation of 12,000 feet. The aircraft was missing since 3rd of June. Violence continues unabated in West Bengal. 2 killed and 4 others injured in an explosion in Kakinada area of North 24 Parganas last night. Locals living in fear. BJP attacks the Mamata government. KAILASH MANSAROVER YATRA begins as first batch of pilgrims leaves from Delhi. External Affairs Minister says China's support to the pilgrimage will enhance people-to-people ties. Two Islamic State terrorists gunned down by security forces in Shopian, Jammu and Kashmir. Huge cache of arms and ammunition recovered from the site. Enforcement Directorate questions former Civil Aviation Minister Praful Patel for second day in succession. Patel is accused of misappropriation in Airbus purchase deal during the UPA regime. And in sports, injury scare for Indian opener Shikhar Dhawan after he was hit on his thumb in the match against Australia. Scan reports awaited. In case of serious injury, Dhawan likely to miss a few matches in the ongoing World Cup. Let's begin with update on Cyclone Vayu. Union Home Minister Amit Shah today chaired a high-level meeting to review the preparedness of state and central ministries and agencies concerned to deal with the situation arising out of Cyclone Vayu. Indian Met Department is informed that the cyclone is expected to touch Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Mahuva as severe cyclonic storm with wind speed of 110-120 kilometers or even higher. The administration has been directed to take every possible measure to ensure that the people are safely evacuated and ensure maintenance of all essential services. Indian Coast Guard, Navy, Army and Air Force units have also been put on standby, and surveillance aircraft, helicopters are carrying out aerial surveillance.
With the country facing diverse weather conditions in different parts, the government is bracing itself for tough times ahead. People too are dealing with the vagaries of the weather as best as they can. Cyclone Vayu is expected to touch the Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Mahuva around Veraval and Diu region as a severe cyclonic storm with wind speed of 110 to 120 km per hour, gusting to 135 km per hour in the early morning hours of the 13th of June. It is likely to cause heavy rains in the coastal districts of Gujarat and storm surge of heights of about 1 to 1.5 meters. Above, the astronomical tides likely to inundate low-lying coastal areas of Kutch, Devbhumi Dwarka, Porbandar, Junagadh, Diu, Gir Somnath, Amreli and Bhavnagar districts at the time of landfall. Union Home Minister Amit Shah on Tuesday shared a high-level meeting to review the preparedness of state and central ministries or agencies concerned to deal with the situation arising out of the cyclone. After the review, the Union Home Minister directed senior officers to take every possible measure to ensure that people are safely evacuated and to ensure maintenance of all essential services like power, telecommunications, health and drinking water, and that these are restored immediately in the event of damages caused to them. He also directed for 24/7 functioning of control rooms. The Cabinet Secretary also convened a meeting of the National Crisis Management Committee to review the preparedness of state and central agencies. The meeting was attended by Chief Secretaries of Gujarat and advisor to Administrator of Diu. The Ministry of Home Affairs is in continuous touch with the state governments and union territories and central agencies concerned. NDRF has pre-positioned 26 teams equipped with boats, tree cutters, telecom equipment and moving another 10 teams as requested by State Government of Gujarat. The Coast Guard, Navy, Army and Air Force units have also been put on standby and surveillance aircraft and helicopters are carrying out aerial surveillance.
साइक्लोन को लेके वलसाड डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंदर सभी को अलर्ट कर दिया है और जो फिशरमैन हैं वो वापस आ गए हैं और जो हमारे कोस्टल के जो विलेजेस हैं उसको भी अलर्ट कर दिए हैं और जरूरत जब होगी तो शेल्टर हाउस में उसको शिफ्ट भी किया जाएगा। इसी तरह से वलसाड डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अंदर ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन ने संपूर्ण तैयारी करके रखी है और संपूर्ण अलर्ट भी है। जब जब जरूरत पड़ेगी इसी तरह से कार्यवाही करेंगे।
Cyclone Vayu is very likely to move nearly northwards and cross Gujarat coast between Porbandar and Mahuva around Veraval and Diu region as a severe cyclonic storm with wind speed. Meanwhile, the Met Department has clearly stated that the force of Cyclone Vayu would be at its peak in the next 48 hours, travelling with wind speeds of 110 to 120 kilometers per hour, gusting to 135 kilometers per hour during the early morning of 13th of June.
भेरावाल से 650 किलोमीटर साउथ में है और इसका अभी हम एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि नॉर्थवर्ड मूवमेंट होगा। नॉर्थवर्ड मूवमेंट होके ये क्रॉस करेगा पोरबंदर एंड महुआ के बीच में अराउंड भेरावाल एंड दीव। सो 13th ऑफ जून का अर्ली मॉर्निंग में ये क्रॉस करेगा बिटवीन भेरावाल एंड दीव। ओके, भेरावाल एंड दीव के अंदर जो डिस्टेंस है आई थिंक 70 किलोमीटर डिस्टेंस है, ठीक है। एंड ये क्रॉस करेगा एज ए सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म और जो क्रॉस करेगा तो विंड स्पीड जो होगा हम एक्सपेक्ट करेंगे कि अबाउट से 120 किलोमीटर पर आवर होगा और ये गस्टिंग में 135 किलोमीटर पर आवर तक जा सकता है। हम लोग गुजरात गवर्नमेंट के साथ पूरा टच में है। मेरे ख्याल से सारे फिशरमैन जो ओपन सी में हैं उनको बुला लिए गए हैं एंड हमने पोर्ट वार्निंग भी दिया है। अभी DW2 जो है सिग्नल नंबर 2 पूरा हमारा जो जितने पोर्ट्स है उसमें posted है।
While fierce winds and storms are set to lash the west coast, other parts of the country are reeling from scorching heat. However, western disturbances over areas in and around Jammu and Kashmir and other high altitude locations and southwesterly winds blowing from across the Arabian Sea towards North India are likely to cool temperatures over Rajasthan, Haryana, Delhi and western India in the next 24 hours.
This cyclonic storm Vayu has been formed over Arabian Sea and the latest bulletin is indicating that it is around 540 kilometer southwest of Mumbai. And the forecast is on 13th morning, that is day after tomorrow, 13th early morning rather, it is going to strike at between Porbandar and Veraval in Saurashtra region of Gujarat. Fishermen warnings are in place.
Meanwhile, Mumbaikars enjoyed the first refreshing showers signaling the onset of the monsoon. While people came out to enjoy the rain, local train services and air services too were hampered. The Met Department has predicted light rains till the 13th and heavy showers from the 14th to the 17th of June. However, even as tourists flocked to the hills to escape the sweltering heat, jams were the order of the day, especially on roads leading to Uttarakhand and even on the Char Dham route. At Dev Prayag, the route to Haridwar too was jam-packed, adding to tourists' woes. With Bureau Inputs, Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And my colleague Sudhakar Das is joining us from the newsroom with more updates on cyclone Vayu. Sudhakar, what is the latest that we know about the movement of the cyclone and about the preparations in place to deal with it?
जी शुभेंदु, जैसा आपने मौसम विभाग की भी जानकारी सुनी, निश्चित तौर पर अभी जो सूचना है उस लिहाज से 13th अर्ली मॉर्निंग यानी 13 जून को सुबह ये साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म हिट करेगा गुजरात में पोरबंदर से जो वरवल के बीच जो है और जो अभी स्पीड कही जा रही है उस लिहाज से कह सकते हैं कि 135 किलोमीटर पर आवर की स्पीड रह सकती है। लेकिन इसमें एक चीज ये है कि इसके साथ ही जो समुद्री लहरें हैं वो 1.5 मीटर तक ऊंची उठ सकती हैं, तो तेज बारिश भी हो सकती है। तो ये जो कॉम्बिनेशन है इसकी वजह से जो कोस्टल कोस्टल एरिया है, चाहे गुजरात के कोस्टल एरियाज हो या फिर दीव की बात हो, दमन की बात हो, तो वहाँ स्थिति थोड़ी खतरनाक हो सकती है। और इसी के चलते गृह मंत्री अमित शाह ने आज उच्च स्तरीय बैठक बुलाई थी, पूरी स्थिति की समीक्षा की तमाम राहत एजेंसियों के साथ, राज्य सरकार के साथ, और तमाम तरह के निर्देश जारी किए गए हैं। करीब 3 लाख लोगों को इवैक्यूएट करना है, जो लो लाइंग एरियाज, कोस्टल एरियाज में रह रहे हैं, जहां प्रभावित ये तूफान का प्रभाव ज्यादा हो सकता है। तो इनमें से 3.25 लाख लोग गुजरात में है, जबकि 25,000 लोगों को दीव से इवैक्यूएट किया जा रहा है, और उनको 700 से ज्यादा जो रिलीफ सेंटर्स है वहां पहुंचाया जा रहा है। कोशिश ये है कि इन रिलीफ सेंटर्स में खाने पीने, ड्रिंकिंग वाटर, इन तमाम सामानों का पर्याप्त इंतजाम हो। तो उसके अलावा आफ्टर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म, क्योंकि रोड, कम्युनिकेशन लाइन, पावर लाइंस, इसके नुकसान की आशंका है, तो उसको तुरंत रिस्टोर किया जा सके, उसके लिए जो इंतजाम की जरूरत है वो किया गया। लेकिन इसके अलावा एनडीआरएफ की टीम नावों के साथ, ट्री कटिंग इक्विपमेंट के साथ और अन्य उपकरणों के साथ मौका वारदात पर है। कह सकते हैं कि एक तरह से जहां प्रभाव की आशंका है, तो 39 टीम्स को प्री डिप्लॉय किया गया है। इसके अलावा आर्मी की 34 टीम्स भी जो वो स्टैंड बाय मोड यानी अलर्ट मोड में रहेगी। तो पूरा इंतजाम है। कैबिनेट सेक्रेटरी ने भी अलग से एक रिव्यू मीटिंग ली है राज्य सरकार के वरिष्ठ अधिकारियों के साथ। तो एक कोऑर्डिनेशन के साथ कोशिश ये है कि नुकसान की आशंका को कम से कम किया जा सके, कोई व्यक्ति हताहत न हो, इसकी कोशिश।
Right, Sudhakar, as you mentioned that while preparations are on for large-scale evacuation, any advisory that has been given out by the administration for people, especially residing in the coastal regions? And once again, if you can tell us the states and the regions that are likely to be affected by cyclone Vayu.
देखिए, जो सबसे ज्यादा असर इस साइक्लोन का होना है वो पोरबंदर के जो पास का इलाका है और दीव, उस इलाके में होना है, क्योंकि यही एक तरह से आई ऑफ द स्टॉर्म जो है, जो सीवियर साइक्लोनिक स्टॉर्म में ये वायु बदलने वाला है वो रहेगा। लेकिन इसके लिए, इसके अलावा गुजरात के जो कोस्टल एरियाज हैं, चाहे भावनगर हो, द्वारका हो, गिर की बात हो या फिर दमन तक, तो ये पूरे इलाके में अलर्ट रहने के लिए कहा गया है। इसके अलावा लगातार SMS के जरिए लोगों को एडवाइजरी भेजी जा रही है, समुद्र में न जाने की सलाह दी गई है। तो हमने स्टोरी में भी दिखाया कि मछुआरों को लौटा लिया गया है, और अगर कोई फंसा हुआ तो उसको लौटने के लिए कहा गया है, क्योंकि कल दोपहर के बाद से ये जो स्थिति है काफी खतरनाक हो सकती है, इसलिए काफी सावधानी बरतने की जरूरत है। एरियल सर्विलेंस भी, चाहे इसरो के सैटेलाइट हो या फिर इंडियन एयरफोर्स, इंडियन कोस्ट गार्ड के एरोप्लेन्स हो, हवाई जहाज हो, उसके जरिए एरियल सर्विलेंस भी किया जा रहा है।
All right, Sudhakar, appreciate you joining us with those inputs on the preparations at place for cyclone Vayu. Our correspondent Sudhakar giving us update about cyclone Vayu. It is expected to make landfall on the 13th, that's coming Thursday, and Gujarat coast is likely to bear the brunt of the landfall, and preparations are in place. Navy and other agencies and administrations are on alert, and large-scale evacuation has also been planned. Moving on, the wreckage of the AN-32 aircraft of the Indian Air Force was spotted on Tuesday, 16 kilometers north of Lipo in Arunachal Pradesh, 8 days after it went missing after taking off from Assam's Jorhat. The aircraft had 13 people on board, and the Indian Air Force said efforts are on to establish the status of the occupants. The wreckage was spotted at an approximate elevation of around 12,000 feet by Indian Air Force helicopter undertaking search in the expanded region. Efforts are now continuing to establish the status of the occupants and establish survivors. Russian origin AN-32 aircraft lost contact on the afternoon of June 3rd after taking off from Jorhat to Menchuka, advanced landing ground near border with China. A total of 8 aircrew and 5 passengers were on board the aircraft. Indian Air Force launched a massive operation to trace the missing aircraft, but the search was badly hit by poor weather condition. The assets deployed for the operation including Sukhoi 30 aircraft, in addition to fleet of C-130J and AN-32 planes and Mi-17 and ALH helicopters. The ground forces included troops from the Army, Indo-Tibetan Border Police and the State Police. ISRO's Cartosat and RISAT satellites were also used to take images of the area around Menchuka. Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Monday held a meeting with his top bureaucrats. He credited the officials, their work and performance as the reason behind PM's massive electoral win. He also outlined a vision for the next 5 years for Team Modi 2.0. Final objective, all government programs must be aimed at improving ease of living for the people. He said people of the nation have given a clear mandate and set the agenda for the government, and everyone must work together to achieve it.
People of the nation gave a clear and huge mandate to Prime Minister Narendra Modi-led government in the Lok Sabha elections. The message was clear, a government that delivers a better future. As Prime Minister Modi begins his new tenure, he met top bureaucrats from various ministries. At the meet, Prime Minister gave a context to his big electoral win. He said credit for pro-incumbency must go to the team of officials. He added that people have voted to change the status quo and see a better life for themselves. Crediting the secretaries for the success of his first term, Prime Minister underlined the role played by the government officials in ensuring that the programs of the government reached the intended beneficiary. He also presented a roadmap for the upcoming challenges. At the meeting, the Cabinet Secretary mentioned two important tasks which would be placed before the sectoral group of secretaries. First, a 5-year plan document for each ministry with well-defined targets and milestones. And second, a significant, impactful decision in each ministry for which approvals will be taken within 100 days. During the interaction, various secretaries shared their vision and ideas. The focus was on subjects such as administrative decision-making, agriculture, rural development and Panchayati Raj, IT initiatives, education reform, healthcare, industrial policy, economic growth, skill development, among others. During his interaction with the secretaries, Prime Minister not only outlined the agenda of his government, but also assured the bureaucrats that they must feel confident in taking positive decisions in the interest of the nation. Prime Minister said that the Indian voter has outlined a vision for the next 5 years, and this is now an opportunity before us. He said that the huge expectations of the people should not be viewed as a challenge, but an opportunity. He said that the mandate reflects the will and aspirations of the people to change the status quo and seek a better life for themselves. Prime Minister urged the secretaries to focus on improving the lives of the poor. Prime Minister's interaction is seen as a unique attempt to establish a sense of camaraderie among the bureaucrats, where every official is on board and committed to the vision of government. On the economic front, Prime Minister said it is essential that the demographics be utilized efficiently. Every department of the Union government and every district of each state has a role to play in making India a $5 trillion economy. He touched upon the importance of Make in India initiative and the need to make tangible progress towards this end. He said that India's progress in ease of doing business should reflect in greater facilitation for small businesses and entrepreneurs. Prime Minister said that each ministry of the government should focus on ease of living. He added that water, fisheries and animal husbandry will also be important areas for the government. All in all, Prime Minister's meeting with secretaries to the Government of India underlines the objective of achieving ease of living for the masses. It will require meticulous planning and efficient use of technology as well. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
And that brings us to the issue in focus this evening in Newsnight. The Prime Minister's interaction with secretaries. Focus on ease of living. That's the issue in focus this evening. And joining me in the studio is senior journalist Mr. Praful Ketkar. Welcome, sir, to our studios. Now, before we get into the particular takeaways, Prime Minister often has this image of a one-man army, that he manages everything on his own, takes decisions, implements them. But on the occasion like this, when he sits with his ministerial colleagues and all the bureaucrats together, an interaction like this takes place, that we realize that it's the team Modi that works together and performs and realizes the dreams of 1 billion people.
Certainly, we need to understand that this was not the first of this kind of interaction. In 2014, when he took over, he had similar kind of interaction. Then, before the end of the tenure also, he had similar kind of interaction.
Yes.
In fact, after completing the tenure, he ensured that at least his PMO complete staff had a very informal kind of get together with them, and now this. See, the problem is we need to understand that this the steel frame or the bureaucracy, whatever we call it, ultimately it is the permanent government.
Political regimes come and go. They say,
and the political decisions taken are to be executed and implemented on the ground by this machinery. Now, how do you handle them? I think Prime Minister has come up with a totally a different kind of approach. On the one hand, you empower them. You give them full freedom. You give them confidence that you are, free to take, a very innovative, out of the box decisions.
He says you should think like Prime Minister.
Yeah,
in fact,
and at the same time, you are accountable for certain acts, or rather acts of omissions and commissions. So this is a clear-cut message that he has given. If you make mistake while making, taking some bold steps, that doesn't matter. But what he has underlined here is very important. He said the mandate is to actually disrupt the status quo. So the real image of Prime Minister is a disruptive leader.
Is he also there connecting the people's mandate with the performance of the bureaucrats? Often bureaucrats were seen, as you mentioned, they're like the permanent government. They were unaffected by which government comes into power. So by linking people's trust, expectations with the bureaucrats, he's doing something different from the other political regimes.
Yes, first time we have seen this.
There's a direct accountability to the people.
Yes, two kinds of statements that were made in yesterday's interaction. First one, that this is a positive mandate, and this positive mandate is because of the hard work and efforts that you have taken. So indirectly he is saying that okay, decisions are taken by the political leadership, but ultimately you are the people who executed them on the ground. It may not be possible to translate them 100% as per the the decisions intended, but your hard work was in the right direction, and that's why I could get this kind of mandate. At the same time, when he said that our prime target are twofold. One is ease of living for the common people, and ease of doing business for the small and medium scale entrepreneurs, businesses. It means till now we couldn't move very fast in this direction. Now there is an opportunity, and he has identified the opportunity to inspire people.
Talking about the core aspect of the ease of living, I mean, to think of it, it seems like a natural outcome of good governance. If this governance is good, then our lives of people around us would improve. We've seen a number of reforms taking place in Prime Minister's first stint, whether we talk about Swachh Bharat, making toilets for the poor, connecting everyone to the banking facility. In tangible terms, what are the expectations now in the new term when we talk about ease of living? What ends are we looking at?
See,
or is it extension of reforms?
It is extension. I think the foundation is created. You need to create a new kind of structure over it. But while doing that, there has to be tangible targets, and that's what Prime Minister has clearly. In fact, the Chief Secretary has given twofold targets. One is you should have a five-year plan, clear-cut agenda for your ministry with tangible targets. And at the same time, for the key decisions which will require long-term planning and investment, you should take approval in next 100 days. It simply means you can't work and expect in a typical red tapeism mindset of bureaucracy. Now here is the government which means delivery, and if that delivery has to be people centric, then it has to be quick and result oriented.
Is an emphasis on the bureaucracy becoming more proactive instead of putting hurdles that will come out with solutions and ways to deliver. And the things that you mentioned, the two tasks assigned by the Cabinet Secretary, it also talks about a certain plan for long term and short term as well. In the first 100 days, in fact, when he talks about the significant steps need to be approved by the government. So they need to come up with a plan.
It simply means in 100 days they should be very clear what they want to achieve in next 5 years. And he has chosen a very right kind of, because if we see whether Swachh Bharat or even for that matter I would include all kinds of steps that were taken either for Digital India or demonetization or whatever, they were basically based on the participatory approach with the people. He has clearly underlined this fact that this 75 years of India's independence is an opportunity to inspire people to participate in various activities.
Right.
We should not forget the fact that parallelly this government has created one department called Jal Shakti ministry.
Yes.
And now that ministry has taken an ambitious target of taking tap water to each and every household by 2014. Besides that, agricultural income, house for each family, these targets by 2022 are already there. So how we can move in that direction? Perhaps one important takeaway that we shouldn't miss in this entire interaction is the way kind of emphasis that was given on fisheries, water, animal husbandry and small business activities.
Right, and also the aspects that Prime Minister spoke about in terms of jobs and employment. He said the demographic advantage that India has is a crucial factor, and it's been stayed as an important factor for some years now. On that front, how challenging do you think the road ahead is for Team Modi 2.0?
It is certainly, because when you have you raise in fact high expectations, you have to deliver up to those expectations. So here the challenge and employability and skill base, considering the world scenario and the way global economy is actually slowed down, and this trend has been continued for a long time. The way oil market and the scenario in oil-rich countries that is unstable and uncertain, we are facing for key challenges.
And we have special committees, cabinet committees also focusing on these
on skills and employability. Skills and employability.
Yes.
So and another committee on growth. So you cannot have a growth which is not actually translating into jobs. That is the key and important aspect that government has taken into, and if that is to be taken, then the rural development, the agriculture and allied activities, then small and medium businesses, these are the key areas where
that's what I'd like to come back to, Praful, that you mentioned the priority given to water management, fisheries. So there is a certain potential, and we know that separate ministry also has been assigned in animal husbandry and others. Is it also aimed at really realizing the true potential of these allied agricultural activities as they were seen till now, and connected with the demographic advantage, creation of jobs that we're talking about?
See, there is no option when you are talking about, because the way the fragmentation of land ownership is happening, the way agricultural income is getting saturated, unless it is supported by something else, and the side effect of this is more dangerous. The way rural population is migrating towards urban centers for job opportunities, and when they don't get their jobs or employability up to the expectation, it creates a more social tension. So you need to create, and this is one way where in the first tenure, when Prime Minister talked about this entire idea of rural mission, where rural areas will have urban facilities, but their soul will still remain essentially rural and agro-based. How whether our ministries, our bureaucracy, our entire government system is tuned up to this kind of creation of infrastructure and facilities.
And if you talk about the small businesses and entrepreneurs, a lot of focus on that also in this particular interaction. Now we've seen GST reforms aimed at easing the lives of businessmen, and there's also a flagship announcement for pension as well for small time shopkeepers. In that regard, what scope there is, you think, for further reforms? What have been the core grievances of people from this particular sector that perhaps the team of Prime Minister could focus on?
See, one aspect was the availability of cash flow. That is to some extent is addressed, liquidity crunch. That is to some extent is addressed by the schemes like Mudra Yojana and other bank supporting schemes. But the real issue seems to be, on the one hand, you have a huge chunk of population which is saying that we are not getting any job. On the other hand, you have many small, medium, even high-tech industries that are saying that we are not getting skilled manpower. How to bridge this gap?
Yeah,
How to bridge this gap is the biggest challenge. And unless you change the mindset of your education system, the bureaucracy that is trying to control entire education machinery, and bureaucracy is not in the strict sense of the government machinery, but the kind of institutions, and that's in there. I would like to bring in this new education draft of new education policy.
Okay.
Because it is coming up with a new idea of having some kind of National Education Commission, which will oversee a kind of policy framework for
bridging this gap
and providing basic framework for educational institutions, but at the same time it will allow them to function autonomously as per the local needs. If somehow government finds and bureaucracy executes and society responds to this kind of initiative, I think that will be a major breakthrough as far as the real reform is concerned.
Right, and if you talk about, we mentioned a challenge about this gap that exists between in jobs, in use and the availability of suitable jobs and vice versa. Now, Prime Minister, time and again, he speaks about India's movement towards $5 trillion economy. In this movement, apart from these challenges that we've spoken about, what are going to be the hurdles? The international cues, as of now, are not very pleasant, whether we talk about US-China trade war or oil embargo in Iran and the kind of impact it has on India. Road ahead, what are going to be the driving forces in India becoming an economy that big, and what are going to be the challenges?
See, frankly speaking, we by nature are not very high-tech based economy. Our strength has been yes, innovation, entrepreneurship.
But it's changing. The pattern is there is a change. There
is a change. There is a change. But there is, see, the way world is moving, if you see in terms of the investment, for example, that is taking place in China or US, for example, in the high-end technology like
startups,
artificial intelligence, or compared to that, we are nowhere. Ultimately, our strength has been human intensive economy.
Okay.
And how you use that human strength productively and skillfully, both the things have to go hand in hand. The real challenge is many people feel, especially in agro and allied services, that you feel that you are employed, but you are actually not.
Right.
And on the other hand, you in many of the urban sectors you are underemployed. So this gap is huge. We are moving in one direction as far as our smart cities and metro cities are concerned, but rest of India. So creating synergy, we have completely created 3 different lives, one in forest, one in rural area, and the other in urban and metropolitan cities. There has to be a synergy, and that has been our strength. We didn't look at this national life in fragments. Unless we develop that, and ease of doing business competition that has emerged among various states is perhaps a cue where we need to create similar kind of mindset when it comes to water management, rural development, small scale industry development, and this competitive spirit perhaps will create a new kind of atmosphere.
Right, and Praful, finally, this meeting of course took place yesterday, the pep talk for the top bureaucrats. Another big news that came yesterday was this action against corrupt officers. Both really happened, the news came in simultaneously. So a clear message being sent out that delivery performance is going to be acknowledged and appreciated, and corruption will not be tolerated.
That's what I said, you know, in the beginning when I said,
Yes.
on the one hand you can think yourself to be PM and take a bold decisions. If you make mistake while making those bold decisions, PM will take the responsibility. But that doesn't mean that you are not accountable for your other actions. You are accountable, you are responsible for the people, for the constitution and for the political authority. So don't take your positions for granted. This is a very, very stern message, and very, you know, and that has to be, and that's why I said this is a very different approach with dealing with the steel frame.
Right, there, Praful, thanks very much for joining us this evening for this conversation. Appreciate you being present in the studio, and we'll have to wait and watch how the way Prime Minister connects people's mandate with the performance of the bureaucrats, what results it shows. Moving on, there are fresh reports of violence from West Bengal. At least 2 persons have been killed and some injured in a bomb explosion in North 24 Parganas last night. Scared locals said that unidentified miscreants lobbed crude bombs at them. Heavy security has been deployed in the area after the attack. Meanwhile, in escalation of political tensions, BJP claimed the party workers were strangled to death in Havra by the TMC workers.
The vicious circle of violence refuses to leave West Bengal in peace. The political violence in the state continues unabated. At least 2 people were killed and 3 others were severely injured when bombs were hurled at them late on Monday night in the Kankinara area of West Bengal's North 24 Parganas district. Following the incident, a huge number of policemen along with RAF personnel have been deployed in the area.
हम घर में ताला बंद किए हैं, 3-4 तो लेडीज ने सबको हटाया, हम हट जाने तो लोग बम फेंक देगा लोग, जैसे गया घर में वैसे देख रहे कि 2 ठो बम फटा, तब तक इधर रोना मातम पड़ गया। मेरा छत के ऊपर बम मारा एक दिन, मेरा गेट पर मेरे बेटे की दुकान से इसका पीछे 2 ठो बम मारा। आए चैलेंज दे रहा है, इलाका छोड़ के चल जाओ, न देखे वो घर में सब में आग लगा देंगे। हम लोग रोज बोल रहे बम फूट रहा, पुलिस आ रहा है, चल जा रहा है, आप लोग जाइए अंदर, आप लोग जाइए अंदर खाली।
Meanwhile, a political worker associated with the party was strangled to death in the state's Howrah district. The police confirmed the death of 43-year-old Samatul Doloy, whose body was found in a field in Sarpota village under the Amta police station limits. Officers were tight-lipped about the cause of the death. Both the Trinamool and the BJP are exchanging accusations for the spiraling violence in the state, which seems to be going out of control now.
तृणमूल कांग्रेस की वो सरकार नहीं रह गई है, बल्कि गुंडे और मवालियों की सरकार हो गई है, और वो सरकार जो है वो पूरी तरह से कत्लेआम अपने संरक्षण में करा रही है, खून खराबे करा रही है, कानून व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से चरमरा चुका है, संवैधानिक व्यवस्था पूरी तरह से ध्वस्त हो चुकी है।
जितने भी भारतीय जनता पार्टी के कार्यकर्ता हैं, सारों को पुलिस तलाश कर रही है, तो हमारे हाथ में 2000 हाथ तो नहीं है, जिनको लेकर इलाका ठंडा किया जा सकता है उनको पुलिस तलाश कर रही है, उनको इलाका आउट करके रखी हुई, और सारे अपराधी इलाका में घूम रहे हैं, तो अपराध रुकेगा कैसे, ये हमको।
Post-poll violence has been reported from various places of West Bengal after the BJP secured 18 of the 42 Lok Sabha seats in the state, just 4 less than that of the TMC. Newsnight Desk, DD India.
External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar today flagged off the first batch of pilgrims for this year's KAILASH MANSAROVER YATRA. There are 2 routes for YATRA, through Lipu Lake Pass in Uttarakhand and through Nathula Pass in Sikkim. The duration of the YATRA is 24 days for each batch. The minister said pilgrim safety will be a priority. He also expressed gratitude towards Government of China for providing necessary support in organizing the YATRA.
The annual KAILASH MANSAROVER YATRA formally started on Tuesday when the External Affairs Minister S. Jaishankar announced commencement of the Lipu Lake route. The centre has assured that all the agencies involved in the Yatra are taking all precautions and steps to ensure safety of the pilgrims. 2 liaison officers will assist each batch of the pilgrims.
What we have done recently is that the fully motorable Nathula road has been opened for the Yatra, and as part of our efforts to improve the Yatra experience, we have decided to include liaison officers who have been there before. The government authorities involved in the conduct of the Yatra have been asked to accord the highest priority to the safety and security of the Yatra.
The interest in the pilgrimage, which started in 1981, has increased significantly over the years. From small batches, it has now become a huge annual event where a large number of devotees prepare to take the Yatra from two different routes. One route is via Lipulekh Pass in Uttarakhand, while the other one is from Nathula Pass in Sikkim. This year, for the Lipulekh route in Uttarakhand, there will be 18 batches with 60 pilgrims each, and for the Nathula route in Sikkim, there will be 10 batches with 50 yatris each. Jaishankar asserted that the pilgrimage is an important step towards promoting people-to-people exchanges and strengthening friendship and understanding between India and China.
I would also like to recognize the support extended by the government of the People's Republic of China in organizing the Yatra, which is an important step towards promoting people-to-people exchanges and strengthening friendship and understanding between our two countries.
Many pilgrims from the first batch attended the event hosted by Ministry of External Affairs in New Delhi. The pilgrims are all excited and eager to complete the Holy Yatra.
इच्छा थी जाने की मानसरोवर यात्रा देखते हैं जाके कैसा है क्या है, इच्छा थी तो पूर्ण करने जा रहे हैं।
पहली बार फॉर्म भरा, पहली बार बाबा ने मुराद पूरी कर बुला लिया। ऐसा लग रहा है कि वो खुद हमें खींच रहे, हम जा नहीं रहे, वो हमें खींच रहे कि आप मेरे पास आओ। एक
मेरे पास तो पैसे भी नहीं थे, सारी व्यवस्था प्रभु ने मेरे को कर दिए हैं, फिर दोबारा से मेरे को बुला लिया है वहाँ पे।
The KAILASH Mansarover Yatra involves trekking at high altitudes of up to 19,500 feet under inhospitable conditions, including extreme weather and rugged terrain. The Yatra may prove hazardous for those who are not physically and medically fit. Jaishankar therefore also urged Yatris to strictly observe safety norms for themselves and also for their fellow pilgrims. With inputs from Nitendra Singh in New Delhi, Bureau Report, DD India.
Jal Shakti Minister Gajendra Singh Shekhawat has said that the centre has set a target of providing clean drinking water to all by 2024. He said the government is formulating a plan to provide clean drinking water to nearly 14 crore households. The minister at a function in New Delhi has said that Prime Minister has set a target and BJP's manifesto talks about providing clean drinking water by 2024. There are nearly 14 crore households where clean drinking water is yet to reach. He said in states like Uttar Pradesh, Bihar, West Bengal, Chhattisgarh, Jharkhand and Odisha, the coverage of clean drinking water is less than 5%. Shekhawat held discussions with officials and ministers from several states looking after water-related issues. Former Civil Aviation Minister and NCP leader Praful Patel is being questioned by the Enforcement Directorate for the second day today in connection with the money laundering probe. The investigation is related to losses suffered by Air India as part of an alleged multi-crore aviation scam. Patel, the Rajya Sabha MP, is the first high-profile person who was deposed before the ED in this case. Patel, however, has not been mentioned as an accused in the case. The case emerges from a criminal complaint registered by the Enforcement Directorate for the alleged irregularities in fixing air slots for international airlines that purportedly led to losses for Air India. Patel has also been named in a recent charge sheet filed by a federal agency before a court as a person known to alleged aviation lobbyist Deepak Talwar, arrested by the ED some time back. The NCP leader, who was in charge of Civil Aviation Ministry between 2004 and 2011, has not been mentioned as an accused in the case. The EG charge sheet in the case named Talwar and claimed that he was in regular touch with Patel. It has been alleged that Talwar finalized various communications addressed to Patel on behalf of Emirates and Air Arabia. Talwar obtained undue favors for the private airlines using his contacts. The agency has also alleged that Talwar was engaged in lobbying with politicians, ministers, public servants and officials in the Civil Aviation Ministry. In Jammu and Kashmir, 2 unidentified terrorists have been killed in an encounter at Avaniri Janpora area in South Kashmir's Shopian district early this morning. The encounter broke out between terrorists and joint teams of security forces following launch of a nocturnal counter-terrorist operation in the area. 2 terrorists were killed in the retaliatory firing by the security forces. Arms and ammunition were recovered from the encounter site. ISIS officially claimed the responsibility of the terrorists.
इन्फॉर्मेशन पे ऑपरेशन लॉन्च किया गया था। इसमें सिक्योरिटी फोर्सेस ने 2 टेररिस्ट मारे गए इसमें, और इनका जो अभी शनाख्त जो हुआ है वो शकीर अहमद वागे और शयार अहमद भट्ट है, और इनके बॉडीज़ जो है इनके फैमिलीज़ को हैंड ओवर कर दी गई है। और ये इनकाउंटर क्लीन ऑपरेशन रहा, इसमें कोई कोलैटरल डैमेज नहीं हुआ है, और फोर्सेस जो है अब जो फाइनल सर्च ओवर हो गया है, इनके पास से आर्म्स एंड एमुनेशन रिकवर किया गया है। पुलिस ने केस रजिस्टर किया है और तहकीकात शुरू की है।
The Supreme Court today ordered immediate release of journalist Prasar Kanodia, who was arrested for allegedly making objectionable comments against Uttar Pradesh Chief Minister Yogi Adityanath on social media, saying fundamental right to liberty is sacrosanct and non-negotiable. A vacation bench comprising Justices Indira Banerjee and Ajay Rastogi said it is granting bail to Scribe as it disapproves the deprivation of right to liberty by the state. An FIR was registered against Kanodia by a sub-inspector at Hazratganj police station in Uttar Pradesh on Friday night, in which it was alleged that the accused made objectionable comments against Chief Minister and tried to malign his image. The top court made it clear that proceedings against the journalist will go on as per the law. The bench observed that even courts have to bear the brunt of social media. The court also questioned the 11-day judicial custody given to the journalist and said that a person can't be allowed to stand 11 days behind bars in the case. Odisha Chief Minister Naveen Patnaik today requested Prime Minister Narendra Modi for special category status to the state. After meeting Prime Minister, Patnaik told reporters in New Delhi that he reiterated the demand for special category status as the state suffered great deal of damage recently due to cyclone Foni. Odisha Chief Minister also congratulated Prime Minister Modi on his electoral victory.
I've just met the Prime Minister. I congratulated him on his election. I also requested him special category status for Odisha. As you know, we've been hit by a recent cyclone again, which has done a great deal of damage. 5 lakh Makka houses for the cyclone. I also asked for the revision of coal royalty, which hasn't been done for a number of years. That will give us.
Moving on, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman today held first pre-budget consultations on agricultural and rural development sector and also with the stakeholders from the industry, services and trade. During the meeting, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman stressed on the measures to boost economic and social infrastructure of the rural sector. She reiterated that concerns of agriculture sector are high on priority of the present government.
In the run-up to the upcoming budget for 2019-20, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman started her pre-budget consultations with different stakeholders. Her first meeting was with representatives from agriculture and rural development sector. During the consultation meeting, agriculture representatives suggested various ideas for boosting the agriculture sector. Some prominent ideas were: solar energy may be treated as third crop to augment income of farmers; incentivizing usage of organic manure for improving carbon content in soil; resolving GST related issues to farmers producers organizations; incentive for agro-processing units and enhancing investments in R&D in agriculture sector; filling up of vacancies in agriculture universities; increasing investment in micro irrigation and solar pumps; financial incentives to the states for implementing agriculture market reforms; promotion of handlooms and handicrafts in northeastern states for employment generation and enhancing rural income; promotion of rural startups, and few suggestions for dairy sector were also presented to Finance Minister.
Next stage of development, if we do not promote food processing. So this was one area which was on which lot of suggestions. If there is a food processing, तो अपने आप ही demand create हो जाती है, better price फार्मर को मिलती है। तो ये सब स्टेप्स हैं फार्मर की इनकम रेज करने के।
हमने कई सारे सजेशन दिए फाइनेंस मिनिस्ट्री को, पर सबसे जरूरी हमने बोला कि एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च पे और एग्रीकल्चर एक्सटेंशन पे कोई पैसा, बहुत कम पैसा लग रहा है और 50% सैंक्शन पोजीशंस में वैकेंसीज हैं पूरे देश में, चाहे वो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च हो, चाहे स्टेट के एग्रीकल्चर रिसर्च हो, चाहे फार्म एक्सटेंशन हो, जहाँ पे किसानों को बताया जाता है कि कैसे खेती अपनी वो सुधार सकते हैं। तो उन चीज़ों पे पैसा लगाना बहुत जरूरी है और इस पे अपने को फोकस देना चाहिए।
One important area that we talked about actually on the agri side was solar as the third crop, and that's a very key suggestion that we see happening to really see if there could be rooftop in terms of solar that would help not only generate electricity but also supply to the grid. The farmers can use their own and the excess they can.
During the day, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman also held pre-budget consultations with the representatives of industrial services and trade associations. The pre-budget meeting with the industry, trade and service sector included foreign direct investment, issue of merger to enhance productivity, the categories of services needed to be expanded to meet domestic demand, and tariff structure to increase domestic output and exports. Arun Sharma's report, DD News.
Let's now look at some other important stories from across the country in Regional Roundup.
Minister for Finance and Planning in the Maharashtra government, Sudhir Mungantiwar, on Tuesday said that cabinet expansion will be done by Chief Minister Devendra Fadnavis before the assembly session. The minister said a cabinet expansion would help fulfill the expectations of the Shiv Sena and other NDA allies. Mungantiwar's statement comes at a time when speculations are rife on an alleged rift between the Shiv Sena and BJP over portfolio allocation and Chief Minister's post in Maharashtra. Karnataka Chief Minister H.D. Kumarasamy has said IMA Jewels issue has been taken seriously. The government, he said, understands the situation of investors and that the case has been handed over to the Central Crime Branch. Meanwhile, Karnataka Home Minister M.B. Patil held a meeting of senior police officials including DGP, IGP, COP and others. Aam Aadmi Party MLA Manoj Kumar has been convicted by a Delhi court for obstructing polling process at a polling station in Kalyanpuri area of East Delhi during the 2013 assembly polls. The court will hear arguments on June 25th on the quantum of sentence, which may be a maximum jail term of 3 months or fine or both. In Gorakhpur, due to prevailing heat condition in the city and increase in the number of patients suffering from heat stroke, skin disease and stomach problems is seen at the district hospital. In Jhansi, 4 elderly people including 1 woman and 3 men from Tamil Nadu died in Kerala express train. All of them were in the age group of 70 to 90 and were going to Coimbatore. 3 were declared dead on the spot while 1 was admitted to a hospital where he died during treatment. The bodies have been sent for post-mortem. The reason behind the deaths is yet to be ascertained.
The Income Tax Department conducted search and seizure operations today on prominent business group based in Srinagar, covering 8 premises in Srinagar and 1 each at Bangalore and Delhi. The assessee group is engaged in business of transportation, manufacturing of silk yarn, hospitality, retail trading of Kashmir arts and crafts and so on. None of the members of the group is regular in filing their income tax returns. It's a one-time settlement. The group has got their loans of 170 crore rupees with J&K Bank restructured for a sum of rupees 77 crore, out of which payment of only 50.34 crore to the J&K Bank has been made so far, and the balance of 27.66 crore is yet to be paid. During the search, digital evidence was found and has been seized, analysis of which is in progress. United States Secretary of State Mike Pompeo has said that his upcoming visit to New Delhi will be focused on advancing America's incredibly important ties with India, which is a significant part of President Donald Trump's strategy to advance the shared goal of free and open Indo-Pacific region, where China is flexing its muscles. New Delhi would be Pompeo's first stop and South Korea his last during a nearly week-long visit to the Indo-Pacific region beginning June 24th. That would also take him to Sri Lanka and Japan. Before starting his trip, Pompeo will address the India Idea Summit of US-India Business Council on June 12th. Prime Minister Modi, during his recent visit to Maldives, underscored India's firm commitment to make the strategic Indo-Pacific an area for shared economic growth, saying it has been a lifeline and also the highway for trade and prosperity. Pompeo will preview elements of a cooperative agenda during his remarks at the India Idea Summit at the US Chamber of Commerce. This is Pompeo's first visit to India after Prime Minister Modi assumed office for a second time. Just last week, Assistant Secretary of State for Political Military Affairs Clark Cooper was in India holding meetings with officials about investments in the defence sector. Some sports update. Shikhar Dhawan is likely to miss India's next two matches against New Zealand and Pakistan. According to ESPN Cricket Info, Shikhar picked up a suspected hairline fracture on his left thumb. He has gone to Leeds to undergo scans, and a final word on the status of the injury is likely to emerge soon. Dhawan hurt his left thumb while facing a short delivery from Pat Cummins in the 9th over of India's innings against Australia. The thumb was taped immediately, but Dhawan carried on playing and went on to score his third World Cup century. Meanwhile, the World Cup group match between Bangladesh and Sri Lanka in Bristol has been abandoned due to rain. Bangladesh and Sri Lanka will split the points for this one, as 2019 becomes the World Cup with most abandoned games already. Only one of the three World Cup matches scheduled to take place in Bristol produced any play. Champions Australia launching their title defence with a 7-wicket victory over outsiders Afghanistan. Sri Lanka play Australia next at the Oval on Saturday, while Bangladesh will get almost a week off before meeting West Indies at Tartan on Monday. Meanwhile, Australia will aim to bounce back as they take on Pakistan in their fourth match of the ICC Men's Cricket World Cup in Tartan on Wednesday. Australia will hope that Warner, who has scored 250s in the three matches that he has played so far, will give his side a flying start. Pakistan have lived up to their unpredictable tag and have seen contrasting results in the tournament so far. And with that, we conclude this edition of Newsnight. Namaskar.